Similar to the human body, the operating temperature of a battery pack should be always monitored, protected, and maintained at optimum levels. If it is too cold, it cannot deliver full power, and if it reaches to upper threshold of high temperature, it may catch fire. Battery thermal management system of the vehicle ensures longer service of battery pack by maintaining cells range between 15 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius. From the basics of how lithium-ion battery works, we know that lithium-ion cells have internal resistance, which means while in operation, there will be some sort of heat loss equal to I square R. Lithium-ion cells performs well in specific temperature window. So factors like cell capacity, cell longevity, cell performance, and system safety depends on the battery thermal management system. There are two sources of temperature instability. The first is internal heat generation in the cell due to internal resistance during operation, and the second is effect of surrounding environment on the battery pack. In the first case, heat is generated inside the cell during charging as well as discharging. Let's discuss about first scenario, charging. From our previous discussion about DC fast charging, levels can go up to 350 kilowatt in case of Tesla supercharger. And in Indian EV scenario, 50 kilowatt fast DC chargers are used. In fast DC charging, let's assume cost is not limiting factor to increase power rating. We can reach power rating more than 350 kilowatt. So, the overall construction of battery pack limits the rate of fast DC charging. As we increase power delivery from the charger, the internal resistance of the cell converts more and more electricity into heat energy. If there is no provision to extract this energy from the battery pack, then due to high temperature, the overall energy storing capacity of the cell gets affected. Also, the overall life cycle of battery pack it gets reduced. Let's take one example. Internal resistance of single lithium ion cell in the battery pack. Let's consider as a 15 milliohm. We know that formula of power voltage into current or square of current multiplied by resistance. So a battery pack which consists of 5000 cells at charging speed of 50 kilowatt per hour. Each cell is charging with 10 watt per hour power to each. Each cell nominal voltage is 3.7 volt. So 2.7 amps current is going through each cell at this charging speed. So the square of 2.7 multiplied by 0.015 gives us 0.19035 milliwatt. This is amount of energy dissipating from each cell as a heat. So multiplying by 5000, a total heat of 546 watt is generated per hour during this rapid charging operation. Important point is that total heat generated by battery pack is not always constant. It changes as per SOC of battery pack. Here comes the role of battery thermal management system. To maintain prolonged operation of battery pack with safety, we have to extract 546 watt of this heat from battery pack per hour. Next is the discharging. As of now, electric vehicles are getting more performance oriented, such as higher top speed, higher acceleration, which is far better than IC engines. But the power delivery requirement from the battery pack increasing rapidly. As we know, depending on lithium ion cell, C rating changes, mostly about 3C to 5C. To get more performance from electric vehicle, it is important to get highest C rating from the battery pack, which provides high power density in small battery pack. As we know, lithium-ion batteries are work on electrochemical reaction. Due to heavy loads and frequent acceleration, the battery temperature goes above requirement temperature range. Not only the acceleration, but regeneration during the braking operation also adds up huge amount of current in battery pack, which results into heat. So the battery thermal management keeps the temperature at optimum level, which gives the EV user prolonged performance from the EV at constant rate. Coming to the second scenario, effects of surrounding environment on a battery pack. Let's see what's happened in cold weather. Lithium-ion batteries rely on chemical reaction to store and supply energy, and the cold temperatures can slow or even stop this reaction from occurring. Although these batteries can handle cold weather better than other chemistry, very low temperatures can still affect their ability to store and release energy. Since the cold condition drains this battery, you will have to charge them more often. Unfortunately, charging them in low temperature is also very not effective compared to normal weather because the ions that provide charge do not move properly in cold weather. Let's see what's happened in hot weather condition. High temperature increases the reaction rate with higher power output. However, it also increases the heat dissipation and generates even high temperatures. Unless the heat dissipated quicker than heat generated, the temperature will keep rising and finally lead to thermal runaway. To top it all, uneven temperature distribution is another problem in batteries. It is typically caused by excessive local temperature, variable current, and thermal conductivity of cell. So, what are the main functions of battery thermal management system? First is cooling. Due to inefficiency, battery cell will not only generate electricity but also heat. This heat should be moved from battery pack when battery temperature reaches the optimum temperature or even in advance. Thus, a cooling function is required in BTMS. Second is heating. In cold climate condition, battery pack temperature probably falls below lower temperature limit. Hence, a heating function such as PTC heater is required to assist battery pack to reach proper temperature range in shorter time. Third is insulation. In extreme cold or hot weather, the temperature difference between inside and outside the battery pack is much larger. Battery temperature will fall or rise sooner out of the proper temperature range. To prevent this, a good insulation can slow down falling or rising of battery temperature, especially when vehicle is parked outdoor. Fourth is ventilation. Ventilation is required to exhaust hazardous gases within battery pack. In some systems such as air system, this function is combined with cooling and heating function. There are various ways to use in battery thermal management system. First is air cooling and heating. Air system use air as a thermal medium. The intake air could be directed from the atmosphere. This is called as passive air cooling system. In another approach, air is supplied through the heater or evaporator of an air conditioner, where the temperature of an air can be manipulated to provide the battery pack. This is called as active air cooling or heating system. Advantage of active air system is can provide the additional cooling or heating power. In the both cases, air is supplied by a blower. They are also called as a forced air system. Air system provides the function of heating, cooling as well as ventilation. Hence, there is no need to build separate ventilator. In case of two-wheelers, heat from the battery pack is extracted by forcing flow of air over the battery casing at the time of riding. So, in the case of air cooling of battery packs, we know that air is forced to flow over battery case, but inside the battery pack there is no direct contact between cell and the casing. Also, to make battery pack waterproof and dustproof, we know we have to use IP67 grade. Here comes the role of phase change material. This dielectric phase change material fits inside cavity of battery case and the cell. So when cell generates heat, the PCM material absorbs the latent heat and starts to melt. The PCM is used as conductor and buffer in the battery thermal management system, where the latent heat of molten PCM is conducted to surrounding environment through the casing. Liquid cooling and heating methods. Besides air, liquid is another fluid to aid heat transfer. There are generally two groups of liquid used in thermal management system. One is dielectric liquid, which can contact the battery cell directly, such as mineral oil. The other is conducting liquid, which can only the contact battery cells indirectly, such as mixture of ethylene glycol and water. Depending on different liquids, different layouts are designed. For the direct contact liquid, the normal layout is submerged module in mineral oil. For the indirect contact liquid, a possible layout can be either jacket around battery modules, discrete tubing around each module, placing the battery modules on cooling or heating plates, or combining the battery modules with cooling or heating fins and plates. Between these two groups, indirect contact systems are preferred in order to achieve better isolation between battery modules and surrounding and thus provide better safety performance. By different heat sink for cooling, liquid system can also categorize in either passive system or active system. In passive liquid system, the heat sink for cooling is radiator. This system has no ability to heat. Heat transfer fluid is circulated by pump within closed system. The circulating fluid absorbs the heat from battery pack and releases heat via radiator. The cooling power depends strongly on temperature between ambient air and battery. Fans behind a radiator can improve the cooling performance, but if ambient temperature is at higher temperature and the battery temperature difference is too small, the passive liquid system becomes ineffective. So, here comes the role of active liquid cooling system. We know from passive air system, the rate of heat transfer between battery pack and surrounding environment is mainly dependent on temperature difference between both systems. So, in the case of extreme cold or extreme hot temperature, the active liquid cooling system is used. In this system, air conditioning unit is used to lower the temperature of circulating liquid inside the battery thermal management in case of extreme hot temperature, or in vice versa, in extreme cold temperature, heat pump is used to provide increase in temperature of circulating fluid in closed system. Up to this point, we discussed mainly about cooling of the battery pack, but in cold weather, we need to increase temperature of battery pack. So for the heating of a battery, heat pump provided inside the battery pack, where it takes energy from battery pack itself to generate heat, and then this heat transferred to the fluid which inside the battery pack, then which increase the overall temperature of the battery pack. In small electric vehicles, air cooling option is used to make system more compact and cost effective, as the load of battery pack is limited. The liquid cooling approach is mainly used in four-wheelers, where the battery packs have to operate on heavy power delivery rating and there is ample amount of space available.